Calling all nerds. This is More Than Dice, the podcast where we dive deep into the realms of everything nerdy. Whether you're a nerd culture connoisseur, a tabletop titan, a miniature gaming marveler, or just someone who proudly embraces their inner geek, this is the podcast for you. And now here's your hosts, Gonzo, Nerd, and Mizzy.
Welcome to the episode of More Than Dice. I'm Gonzo.
I'm Mizzy.
I'm Black. I'm Michael. Apologies. I'm sorry. Duty was just over. I had to, just let you know. I apologize. Hi, everyone.
We have Zeke with us tonight. Zeke is joining us to talk about Warmachine and everything. A good old friend of ours, so we figured we would get him on.
I don't know why. It was a horrible decision.
Someone is calling Gonzo quiet.
I will crank myself up. How about that?
Crank it up. Crank it up.
Thanks for letting us know. I don't know why it changed it from this scene, because we were just doing the other one, just at the pre-ramble. There's no problem there. But it could be a noise reduction thing, because I was being kind of loud. Horizon Galaxy thinks so.
As a Gonzo do, be loud.
Yes. Always loud. Guys, welcome to the podcast. Today's going to be all about Warmachine. Before we do that, we got to get to the business. We want to thank Midnight Heroes for sponsoring the channel. Make sure you check out his chibi stuff. He is doing a summer sale right now, so I think you can get most of his stuff for 20% off. We want to thank Creature Caster for sponsoring the channel, where they not only have their own tribe, but their own models. You can, if you join the tribe, you can get a 5th edition module and like 6 to 8 models to go with that module. Pretty cool. I want to thank Muse on Minis for sponsoring the channel, having us on there. Don't forget to check out their store. They have a ton of things to go through. We want to thank Cuttlefish Colors. Make sure if you like a good glazing or sketching style of paint, or just paint period, you can also check them out. They sell them on the Creature Casters website. We also want to thank Turbo Dork, the makers of turbo shifting paint and good metallic paint. A great company, also with their palettes and stuff that they have. Their silicone palettes and silicone sticks. Make sure you check them out. Did I get everybody? I think I got everybody.
I believe you got everybody.
I got everybody this time. Sweet.
Woot.
So, other than that, we got to get to some business. We have a couple of shout-outs this week. Captain Busy, do you remember?
Willie Mays and Donald Sutherland?
Yes. Both of them passed away from a very old age. I mean, like, 80s, 90s type thing.
80s, 90s.
Yeah.
Yep.
Willie
they lived
Mays,
a full life.
Yeah. Willie Mays, of course, the baseball player. Well known. I thought he had passed away a long time ago. I didn't know that he was still alive, because you didn't hear anything about him or whatever. But he had passed away. And then Donald Sutherland, which kind of hits a little bit more towards me because of his acting and everything he's been in. Because very well known actor, been around for 18 million years, passed away. So other than that, so big shout out to those two. Zeke, do you have anybody you need to shout out to?
No one on my end. No real big people I was looking forward to. For my shout outs, to the Minority Report podcast. Love those guys. Want to slap half of them, but I love them to death.
They're okay.
They're okay. They can cook for some, they can cook.
I will give them that. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, we are a Warmachine podcast. We also looking to jump in soon for some other extracurricular activities, so keep an eye out for that. But yeah, that's what we do, and we enjoy what we do.
Cool. We gotta get to the real business, and this is what everybody wants to know. Mizzy, what are you drinking tonight?
I am mixing it up a little bit with some raspberry peace tea, because it is non-alcoholic.
Okay.
Because I am trying to be healthy, but I am splurging with tea.
What is this healthy BS?
Zeke, what are you drinking?
My body revolting.
Um, I had some glass of some lovely Fago, Fago Mumis, for more specifically. There might be some extra little drops of some special things to keep me a little awake, but that's about it.
I'm doing the good old-fashioned water H2O, keeping myself hydrated, making sure that I'm drinking the appropriate amounts and taking all my medications. As everybody keeps on asking how things are going, taking my medication, do what I need to, and just keeping going. So more H2O for me.
I've had 1 gallon of water
Hydrate.
today already, so I'm already good.
So you're gonna have to pee like 5 times between.
Absolutely. But I drink my water.
Type thing. Guys, as usual, we love you. We miss you. We can't wait to see you at the next convention or other event that you're going to be at. If you're coming to Fort Smith this weekend to play in the IG, it'd be awesome to see you. Awesome to hang out. Just let us know. Tell us what your handle is also, so we know who you are, and it gives us a little bit better, so we can go, oh, okay. But make sure that you take care of each other. We're in some shitty times, and we hopefully everybody can look after each other. And as always, if you hear something, say something. If you see something, say something. If you can do something, do something. And if you can't, find something at will, because we got to look after each other. Cheers.
Cheers.
Shit, yeah, this is good H2O.
This high quality H2O.
High quality H2O. It's filtered, I can tell.
What tap water's the best? Come on now.
Depends on the tap.
I mean, I'll give you some Flint water. It'll spruce you right up.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
And I had that water.
So I invited Zeke on. Zeke and I have known each other for quite a while. 9-10 years, something like that.
We're on marriage time at this point.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I met Zeke while he was PGing some stuff at old Warmachine weekend. And
the good times.
now he's now in charge of a lot of the stuff at Warfare Weekend, and handling a lot of the stuff at Warfare Weekend and doing setting up the events and organizing all that. But Zeke, before we get started talking about Warmachine, tell everybody who you are, what you give us a little bit of background, why you play Warmachine, and so on and so forth.
Usual fun stuff. Well, hello everyone. I'm Isaiah, also known as Zeke throughout the miniature game community. I've been playing miniature games for a very long time. Jumped into private press mode of things back in 2001 when they first released their supplement for D&D 3.0 of the Witchfire trilogy. I'm a huge steampunk fantasy person, so this definitely caught my eye. I've been a part of Warmachine itself back in 2006 till now. Starting off with the Signar box, when my best friend decided to pick up the Signar in Menoth starter box. I'm like, hey, let's play this. So I'm like, well, we both play things together. Let's do it. So, and I've been stuck ever since. So it's been a very fun ride. A lot of my friends who I have now are through the community, Gonzo included, Mizzy included, but tons of friends both in the local areas, around the world, stateside. It's been a fantastic run. But yeah, outside of that, I'm a nerd who's into too many hobbies, too many things. Jack of all trades. So.
Like we all are. There's
too many
what are your hobbies? I'm
what?
Like, it's there. All of them.
It's there. And I tell people all the time, like whether like I've done both traveling out of country. I've been to Japan a couple times, Germany, Australia once. Played sports, everything else, play instruments. A little bit of everything. So I've dabbled in it. So if you ask, I've probably done it.
Probably done it. So we're going to talk about Warmachine. Now, we all know, if you're listening, you know what Warmachine is, miniature gaming. The whole story. We've already gone over why, Steamforge Games has got it and all that. Don't need to rehash that whole thing. We're looking forward to what they're going to be doing. We're ready and
it's a new
ready
chapter.
to start doing stuff. Yeah, we're ready for it.
Yeah.
So we wanted to talk about some other stuff. So lately, building lists and everything, I like to build at 75 points. because I like the way that feels. It also gives me, I don't have to play, 2 hour long games. It's a little bit smaller, so on and so forth. And it also gets me, also gets some of my locals more interested because they don't have to, field as much type stuff. What is your take on like the 7,500? And I don't want to say debate, but you know what I'm talking about. We've had this discussion
Sure.
before.
Absolutely. And kind of also jump on the other point level that doesn't really talk about much is also 50 points. 50 points is also a very interesting type of fun format I do, especially when we're doing like team ups. So like with 2 players versus 2 players or something along those lines. So for the 75 versus 100 debate, I'm a 75 player at heart, but a 100 player when I'm looking to play something a little more with all the toys. Because again, sometimes when you have all the toys, every once in a while you want to put all the toys on the table, play that grand scale fun game, and have fun with it. But when it comes to playing the game, I always look at list building as part of the game, because those choices you make are important for maximizing the efficiency of the list, to pick the things that you know you need, not that you get to take your cake and eat it too. Sometimes you have to make those hard decisions when making on those list constraints. And when going for 100 points, you don't have that as much, because you definitely, that 25 points may not sound like much. You're like, oh, I can just take X big thing and then another little thing and it'll fill it up. But for some armies, they can push the envelope a little more than others. So on a personal note, 75 is more my enjoyable format, even on a semi-competitive level. But I do understand the rush and the play of playing 100 points as well. But 75 would be my more preferred play style.
Mizzy?
Yeah, I'm with both of y'all. For me, 75 points, it gives me what I want, without overwhelming me so much. Because when I've played at 100 points, it was just a lot to keep up with, and it was really overwhelming for me, and I was not having a good time with it.
Yeah. Now, I do understand the other side of the flip coin, because sometimes to understand the argument, I make sure I understand both sides of the coin.
Correct.
For the 100-point players, they feel that for the scenarios that we have to play on for the 6 scenarios, some of those scenarios don't play well at lower points because some things are really spread out, and it kind of makes certain casters not field, certain leaders, let's say that, not field to their strongest ability because they're already taking so many things to fill up their points to make themselves good, and then now at 75 points they can't take enough to kind of play to the scenario. So definitely you have to now tone down their efficiency in order to play the scenario, which I can definitely understand that it makes certain casters essentially not see the board at 75 points. But again, that's more on a competitive side of things. But again, I do understand that thought process, right? Like you want to make sure that at 175, everyone has a playable feeling. But sometimes that definitely does happen where some models don't get that shine until they can be at bigger points.
Right. So, and like for me, I'm not a competitive player at all. So that doesn't really interest me. But I do see the potential of me personally playing 100 points when we get more gargantuans and colossals out. Because big boys and shenanigans.
Right. Yeah, like you're like, hey, I can own 2 of the mastodons for Khador. Are you going to take 2 of them at 75 points? Not really. But hey, do I want to play 100 points so I can definitely play 2 of them and take the support and some of the stuff they kind of need just to play them on the board? Absolutely.
Correct. Yeah, and I think with the implementation of like new battle engines, new, gargantuans, colossals, whatever you want to call them, is definitely, I can see people like I want to play 100 points because I want to play with 2 big stompy robots type thing.
And guess what? It's Warmachine. I want to play with 2 big thing toys. Absolutely. I would never deny.
Give me my tentacle guns.
Well, I mean, hold on. Like, there's no hentai going on here. It's okay. We don't need all the tentacles thrown all over the place. No schoolgirls. Let's be more particular on what we're saying here.
If you're a blind boy player, you already know.
I do.
Yeah, everybody's waiting for him to come out to see what's going to happen. So, we've got our 100 points and we've got our 75 and we got our 50, and a lot of us, I guess most of us are well-known players, and so while 50 doesn't usually appeal to us because we understand what it is, the 75 and then the 100, whenever I'm looking at list building, so what most people know is you build 2 lists for a steamroller. You have, it's a 2 list format, and people build 2 lists like one complements the other. So you kind of have what we call list chicken. If I drop this list, you drop the other list, and hopefully you pick the right list. Now, when I build, I always build, and I usually build a troop spam list. So a caster, I have a caster that has, a broad troop list, and the troops can just like swarm the table, and I can have a ton of troops running around, especially based on a scenario that requires me to be all over the board. Um, and then I always build. Usually, it is a Jack or Beast heavy list type thing. And most of the casters kind of go that way too. The armies, there's usually, and it's all flavor. Like you can have a heavy troop list, or you can have a large troop list, and then the other caster changes up the complete feel of it, type thing. So I mean, for example, Boomhowler, you know, jacks up all the troops and everything, while Shadow Tongue arcs through all the troops type
Mhm.
stuff. So it's a different play style, but I do like playing, little, troop heavy on one and Jack and Beast heavy in another, because I'm like, I need a beat stick and I need a swarm stick type thing. So what are you? How do you usually build, Zeke?
It mostly depends. So like for example, I actually ran an event for kind of more my newer or returning players called Blind Obedience. Was that they built one 75-point list,
Mhm.
but they had to pick 3 casters, and then every round, instead of having 2 lists, they're picking one of their 3 casters, kind of to emphasize how the caster definitely changes how a list plays, and that's very important to understand. So when I look at lists, I kind of build one of 2 things. I'm either A, building a list that I feel comfortable with. Like it's not meant to be the best thing ever, but my personal belief is that the more you know a list, the better you can play it, no matter the situation. And then my second list is usually to complement whatever the first list I feel misses. Um, just again, because even if my list that is my initial list, I drop into something that may not be, I would say, a bad matchup. Usually I can play it better because I know how to play the list.
Correct.
Like, sure, you can say like, oh, this is, the bad drop, but hey, I know how to play this list in and out, and I know what my opponent does. So I can now take the steps I need to kind of be comfortable in my list. But yeah, I usually prefer picking comfortability on knowing my models and how to play the game than just picking the meta, I would say.
Yeah, I feel like I'm the same way. But so I want to know my models. I want to have a low model count, but maximum shenanigans type thing, because
Yeah.
that's what I do. But I've also been playing around with some ideas of being inspired by different songs that I listen to. Since I am playing the Brian Bloods and Ailstorm exists, I've got a Shadow Tongue list that I've been playing around for the Curse of the Dead Marauders, where I could just bring Marauders back.
Oh, sure.
Because yeah, why not? But I really like utilizing my airships and the guns and the cannons with Fire Quill. So that's the list that I know. That's the list that I'm probably going to default to. But I do like exploring those other ideas.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy just also just having fun too. As you mentioned, like you can play a full balloon list with Prime Bloods and have fun with it. Like, will it be the best thing ever? No. Am I going to cause hell for my opponent because he doesn't know where bombs are coming from? Absolutely. But it's going to be fun, enjoyable, and it's going to do its thing. And at the same, and that's what I tell people. Like, I enjoy being semi-competitive because I can play the list. I can play the list on a competitive level, but I can build casually and have fun with it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have to build X, Y, Z. Like, all my list doesn't have Carver 2 in it. Like, no, I don't care about that. I'm here to have fun with it, enjoy it, but I can still play it on a competitive level and just do what I want to do with it. That's all.
Before we get started anything else, we all know our Mark III armies. We got the Mark IV armies, and we put quotes around this, the Mark IV armies, the newer ones that
Yep.
come around. And we've got some coming up. And so I'd like to do like a roundtable of like, we all know that Captain Mizzy and I play Brine Bloods and we love our troll pirates. They're a lot of fun, but armies that we're looking forward to and everything that we know either A, coming out or is out, that we actually like and get into. Like for me, I think the Gravediggers are going to hit a certain feel for a lot of people that are not playing, that are going to play, and Gravediggers are going to hit a certain feel for a lot of people, period, because of what we've seen so far and what the little hints and everything they give.
Yes.
Gravediggers is going to be, I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, the freaking, I can't remember, Plugger, I think is what they're named, the one that has the 2 Gatling guns on top of his head and is carrying 2 bayonets,
2
knives,
trench blades.
trench blades. Yeah, they're swords. That model is just legit. I don't even care what the rules are. That just looks cool as shit. Um,
I have a lot of money in store credit set aside. Like literally, as soon as it's announced, I'm buying as much as possible.
Here for it.
yeah, and he's going to hit that field because also the aesthetic is appealing to a lot of people because it is old school steampunk feel for a lot of people. An old grungy, in the dirt. Oh, this isn't a pretty warjack. This warjack has seen some shit.
Also, for all the Helldiver 2 fans, we are airdropping from airships.
Yes.
Yes.
That's a thing. Yes.
Yeah, they've mentioned that there's gonna be airdropping in it. We don't know the mechanics, so we're gonna have to wait and see. But that sounds fun. I mean, that just sounds like it's gonna be a joy to play. Give me something little small to an army that makes it unique, and people are gonna play it. Type thing. One that I'm looking forward to. The Necrofactorium, aka Crix, the new version of that. We've seen some of the models. We haven't seen everything yet, and I'm looking forward to that because it looks like it's going to be a ton of fun, and it's going to be pissing a lot of people off.
Fun for who exactly?
Me.
Fun for the dude
I don't
that
want to
likes
deal
to
with
play
that
the
bullshit.
evil dick.
I don't want to play with that bullshit. I'm not dealing with like 30 to 40 Mechanothralls running across the table screaming at me. No, thank you.
I'm so looking forward to it.
No.
It is going to be such a pain in the ass. I know this is going to bring back PTSD for some people.
It's going to give me
Mark
PTSD.
1 all day. Mark 1 all day.
But I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to see what they're going to do, see what's going to happen. But for the ones that are out already, so we've got quite a few that are out. Others, and I'm not interested in the Storm Legion. It's cool, just not my shtick. Anybody else? Anybody got any opinions on that?
You know what? So my local group has noticed something. So like the first month or 2 when Storm Legion first came out, I played it a bunch. That was obviously last March when it officially dropped. After the first couple months, I haven't played Storm Legion since. I have been playing Legacy armies the entire time because nothing has caught. While it is old school Signar to a degree, it hasn't like captured me in the same direction. Like visually, I see my old school Signar, but it hasn't captured me in the same way. But as soon as the reveals for Gravediggers hit, sweet baby Jesus, like the greatest of hard-ons of life kicked in. And I was like, yes, that's what I wanted. Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for.
So Storm Legion, they look cool. There's nothing wrong with them. And guys, these are all personal opinions, by the way. Don't take us at anything.
No, absolutely
not good. These are all personal opinions and play styles because we all have play styles. Like originally, when it was coming out, I was all in on Khador. I was like, I'm all in on Khador. I used to be a Khador player, old school, legacy Khador. I was like, I'm all in on Khador, and I was looking at it and everything, and then all of a sudden, Orgoth came out, and I was like, shit. Orgoth is my shit. They're a beat stick and a half, especially the new
funny
cadre.
enough, I was interested in buying Khador. Like after not playing Storm Legion and kind of not feeling it, I was feeling Khador for the longest time, and I was like, I'm ready to pull the trigger until literally like the next couple of days was when Gravediggers got shown off, and then I was sold. But yeah,
You're like, never mind.
Yep. But I still like Kador. Like, I still think Kador is a lot of fun. Has some very interesting options, and I think, there's some cool stuff there.
Yeah, I still think it's a great. I think the Man of War aren't the list and army, that cadre type thing is really really good, and really hits that. It hits that Kador feel that you want. Big old beat
Yana
stick.
looks amazing. Like,
Yeah.
she almost
Yep.
tells me stuff. I'm like, I have a big Russian lady on a big bar that's just doing some big stuff. Like, this model looks gorgeous. Like, yes. I'm still buying the model, by the way. Like, I'm buying that model.
I've actually been kind of looking at Dusk, because new the cadres come out and everything, and I don't know. I haven't dug into it, but there's something about their cavalry that just makes you goes, damn, those cavalry. I want to build a cavalry list with their cavalry, because those lion creature, what do you want to call it, are just legit great models.
The manticores.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
cats. Yeah. Well, lucky enough, I'm not getting the dust because we have like 5 dust players at my store, so there's more than enough dust players. So I deal with more than enough cats, and those cats are a pain in the ass. Those are also very pretty models as well too.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So,
yeah, I thought about getting into Dusk, because I'm just kind of I don't have any other. I only have Brine Bloods right now, but I want a Warmachine faction. But Dusk, Dusk's got a it's in a weird area, but those cats, I'm so for it. Type thing.
I mean, hey, with
Also
Oregon, you
cats.
get to touch both sides. So, also we got the hidden secret about Kador as well, because I guess at what's Seth's event? Boca Brawl.
Boca Brawl.
It was revealed that the other army for Kador doesn't use jacks, but we're not sure what they're using.
Correct. We don't know yet.
Correct.
Mhm.
But we know Orgoth is getting War Beast. We're not sure what Kador is getting. So I'm very interested to see what that is.
Yeah, it'll be interesting
For
to
sure.
see. Hopefully it'll be, like I said, small things like that change up the game, because you're like, oh, and this is pure speculation. We don't know. Say, you play the Man of War list as list 1, and your other list, possibly is going to be, a War Beast type thing, but they're all Kador. Cool. I'm for it.
Yeah. I'm down for some more beasts.
What else we've got? Oh, what is it called? The Shadow Flame Shard, Chimera.
Yeah.
Mechanical dragons, best way to put it.
Mhm.
They're not my thing. They're not my aesthetic, but I see a lot of people jumping into Chimera right now.
Initially when they first came out, the battle group didn't interest me until the Y-Ring came out. That caught my eye.
That is a pretty model, yeah.
That's a very well. Besides being on the one tail tip for
Well,
that model. That
with
model.
the wings.
Oh no, that model is gorgeous. Like, that model is like, I'm a mini archangel and I'm just like out here. I'm like, absolutely, you're a very beautiful model. But outside of that, the aesthetic, just, it was interesting, but it just didn't catch me.
Yeah, that one.
And I love my dragons.
Yeah, that one just didn't catch me, and it doesn't seem like my play style either. Like I says, I'm holding out. I may get a Dusk, because I have somebody that has a Dusk army, so I may bug them and test it out, see if I want to buy it. But Gravediggers and the Necrofectorium is really where my heart is. Gravediggers just look fun as shit. The models look amazing, of what we've seen, and then the Necrofectorium, just because. Yeah, bad guys, lots of undead. Yeah, I'm for that. So.
Yeah, that's Gonzo's vibe.
Well, I mean, like, even Dusk, Dusk has the two things I usually don't do, which is elves and undead. But the initial aesthetic caught me, and I kind of liked it until the rest of my group bought it, and I was like, okay, I'm not joining the rest of you. Nope.
Got
too many of you in the pot.
Yep. But I like that and everything. It'll be interesting. Like I says, hopefully we'll get some news of when this stuff is coming out, because we don't know, because we're all waiting just like everybody else. Because I definitely want to play the Necrofectorium. What I've seen so far, I really like. Seems like a lot of fun, a lot of synergy.
Yeah.
Big troop spam, which is going to really break my wallet. But other than that,
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
it'll be fine.
Well, I mean, they did put out a release schedule for the Nectar Factorium, right? Like this is supposed to be
but we know
starting
how
to get released
we know
next
how
month,
release
I
schedules
think.
are. We
I-
all know how release.
True that. True that. Yeah, I mean, you're not
Not
wrong.
out until it's out.
Amen. You're not wrong. But I mean, with by the way it sounds, Steamforge taking over production and them kind of pushing things on their end, we may see things on a more stable release schedule.
Yeah, and we hope so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we all want them to do that. We all want them to succeed at this and get our release models out. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to that because it looks like I said, the Necrofactorium looks really. Shadow Sword feels very classic Crix. Feels very classic Crix with a twist.
Yep.
Type thing
Yeah.
with some little changes and such. So I'm really looking forward to it. Anything else y'all want to talk about? Any factions? We already know that Gravediggers, everybody's got a big boner for.
Uh-huh.
And like a lot of people, I've actually I've had a lot of people that either played very long ago or are coming back, and new ones, and they've looked at the Gravedigger stuff and they're like, yeah, they've got me back.
I think another thing that interests people was that we're starting to get some of our named characters back. So we have Butcher coming in, we had Kane being revealed,
Yep.
Which was a huge thing. And also we do, his daughter is going to be in Gravediggers, which is a very big thing.
Yeah.
So we definitely see more of the timeline kind of happening. So, but with them coming back, it does. And then I believe Lilith was revealed for.
Something we don't know exactly, but something
right.
with
But
Lilith.
we do know Lilith, like Apotheosis or something. But so this is cool because that means those older players who are now hearing familiar names coming back catches their interest.
Yeah.
So we have that as well.
Okay. It'll be very interesting. This next, and I'm going to say year. This next year is going to be a really big change and a really big eye opener for a lot of people on everything for Warmachine, just because of all the changes going on and all the stuff coming out.
Yeah, I think definitely between now and the end of the year, Warfare Weekend, I think we'll see things start to slowly move with what Steamforge plans to do. They'll start talking about it more, and they'll start. We'll see what the fruits of that labor will become.
Yep.
Great.
So we kind of touched on it a little bit for tournaments. Now, we know that a lot of tournaments are going on. People are gearing up for the WTC, and of course, everybody's going to get points for the Iron Gauntlet. You were actually in charge of the Iron Gauntlet this year. Thank you for taking that over. That was on my plate and no longer is. And it is a big task for people who don't know.
I will set up.
Track everything. I did set them up.
All an inside job.
I had all this planned, and
I was the treasurer, and then you're like, "Hey, I'm gonna step down. You're gonna take over." It's like, oh,
Gonzo has a habit of doing that to people. Zeke, just look at me. I am a prime example over here.
You've been dragged in since day one. I feel sorry for you.
I didn't read the fine print correctly.
Right? God.
I set stuff up all the time. Just sometimes it takes a little while to get it done. And we have a lot of people that are doing like just standard steamrollers. And our good friends Seth and Travis and what was it? Dark
Erica.
Guidance. They had that one release where they were talking. Blightbringers did the one thing about tournament play and talking about how to treat your TO and stuff, which was a great read. If you haven't done it, go check it out. They're on Muson Minis.
Yep.
It's
As
really
a TO,
good.
I 100% agree.
Yeah, you really need to appreciate and realize what's going on with the TO and what a TO has to do, because there's a lot if you haven't done it before. But we got a lot of people that are gearing up for Iron Gauntlets, and getting points and trying to get into the Iron Gauntlet because the system promotes people playing more and more and more, which is really good in my opinion. And we're the one we got this weekend. We're probably going to have 8 or so people, but it's okay because the system allows for
system checks for that. Yep.
It does a checks and balances, so we get that. But one thing I was doing, how do we prepare for tournaments? Like, I'm not a huge tournament player. I like tournament play. Don't get me wrong. I have my list. I don't go and I'm going to play this list 75 times before I put it on the table at an IG. I just like, yeah, I like this list. The list has a lot of fun. Let's go for it. Type
Yep.
thing.
I want to tell you the same thing I tell everyone for all tournament scenes because I played in too many different types of tournaments. First, take a shower. Number 2, pee on deodorant. I love all of you guys.
Yes.
For the love of God, it gets crowded. It gets tight. I don't want to smell you. Like, I love all of you. Not that much, okay? Number 2, be punctual. Like, sometimes when running an event, we only have X amount of time, either A, based on the store being open, B, convention hall, whatever the case may be. We're punctual. Please be early, be where you need to be, be attentive. Like, all that's important. Because I tell all my guys, if I give you a break and I say be back at 11:30, I will start you at 11:30. I don't care. I don't care. Unless there's an emergency that happened, you need to call me, let me know. That's one thing. But like, I am punctual. I will start it at this time because we don't have all day. Sorry. And at the same time, you guys don't want to be here until midnight. Like, you guys also want to go home too.
And also, you can't be there till midnight in some places. Like, if you're doing a convention, it's tight
Yeah.
schedule because sometimes you have to be done at 6 p.m. because someone else is going to be using the tables you're going to be using.
Nope.
But the idea is like, if you're only supposed to be there for 4 rounds, you're not supposed to drag it out longer than it needs to be. Being punctual, and then before we get into like these stuff for tournaments, last thing is sportsmanship. Obviously, you're there to have fun. Your opponent's there to have fun. Be respectful and everything else, both to your opponent, to the TO, to the tables, to the terrain, everything else. Because love and everything else is being put into setting this up for you to play on. Please be respectful of that and the time that it takes to set that up.
There are people that work in the background and paint
Yep.
terrain all year long so that you can play.
Print stuff, everything else. But no matter how much little or amount you put in, treat it with the same respect. Those are my top 3 rules for no matter what event you go to, whether card games, miniature games, whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
Those 3 are my top things I tell everybody, 100%. But for us for miniature games, also on the same note, just before you leave in the house, double check your list. Make sure you have all your models, because we've all done it. I've done it. Especially if you travel. Hey, I'm on this plane ride down from Michigan over to California. I get there, crap, I left 2 of my Warjacks. Well, who forgot to check in the morning? Thanks. Always check what you got beforehand. Double check, cross it off, make sure it's all there. Some of us like to ask people that we know in the area, hey, can I borrow a model so I don't have to put them on a plane, or for X, Y, and Z purposes? Verify all that. Because again, if such and such person doesn't show up for an emergency, whatever the case may be, you're not SOL. And you're like, well, I traveled this whole distance for I don't know what. Then it feels bad. But yeah, just making
Make
sure you
sure
got
you
what
have
you need.
all your gear too, your dice, your
Yeah.
pencils, all
Yep.
that stuff. Make sure
Your
that you
dice
have.
tray.
Nice phrase. For us, for Machine, now that we have to make sure you have your objectives. I always, as a TO, have extras because I always assume that no one brought theirs. So I have enough for all of my tables, if at possible, maybe short, like 1 or 2 tables, but I bring enough for every single table just in case, because I like to be prepared. I don't like playing that last second BS.
Yeah. Yeah. 3D print stuff like objectives.
Yep. Also, bring a charging block. It never hurts. If you're someone who's utilizing War Room on your phone or any type of device and you're there for a while, bring it there to recharge. Literally, it matters 100%. It doesn't hurt, and they cost you like $20 for a very good one. So, bring water or something to drink. Like, being hydrated is important as well. And if friends there, we'll get you something to drink. Like that one, whether it's food or whatever, we'll work with you guys. But bring what you need to help yourself make it through the day. Absolutely.
Because whether you think it or not, and people still think that they can play a 6-round event in a day, your body is not ready for a 6-round event.
I mean, we did it, Warmachine Weekend. We've done it.
Yes.
You are burnt the fuck out afterwards.
Yeah.
You are crashing in someone's room. It may not be your room, but you're crashing in someone's room.
Yeah,
Okay.
I remember when we first came back from COVID, they were like, "Oh, I could do a 6-round tournament." Round 3, they're like, "Can we like nope, we gotta go." Sorry.
Can we cut it? Top 4, top 8.
Here's the thing: just because you can does not mean you should.
Amen. But Gonzo, we did those days, didn't we?
Oh yeah, we did. Oh yeah, I remember. What was it? Chris Davies. They had to do They had 110 person
Oh
last chance
yeah.
qualifier, and they had to do it. They did all the rounds except for like 4 in one day type thing in our big
Oh, it's
days.
murder. And
Oh
I took
yeah,
all and this. Well, now remember though, that was also back in the day where sometimes we just brought that assassination list where you're either winning on turn 2 or losing on turn 2, just so you can either have that time to take a break, get food, and everything else. You didn't care what happens. You're either
yeah,
winning or you're losing. You didn't care.
yeah. And also to make sure,
Mm.
guys, whether you think it or not, make sure you stretch.
Yeah.
At one year, we had someone that bent over on their back to move a model and tweaked their back out. And of course,
Was
this is
that
post-COVID. That
was that
happened like
Charles? Or was
I,
that
I don't know who it was, but someone told me that someone tweaked their back leaning over a table, and they actually had to call the ambulance to come and get them because it locked up
I
and
know
caused me
who it
problems.
is. I can't remember who it is. I know who it is facial wise.
Yeah.
But yeah, no stretching, taking a walk, again, taking a break. You know, is just important.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
100%. I mean, you're there to have fun. If it doesn't feel like fun, don't do it. Um, type thing, because you're gonna get burnt out, and then you're gonna be like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to play.
So jumping on that comment, like I've dealt with the situation now for like over the last month or so because we've had situations where that if you are ever in a situation, if you're not at a con and you're in a situation where things aren't getting fun because of bad sportsmanship, situations going on, don't take it as a bad thing that if you just need to step away, just walk away.
Yeah.
Like not causing more problems and everything else. You're there to have fun. If you're not having fun, let people know. Say, hey, I need to step away. This isn't fun before it becomes a problem. Absolutely. And if you're at a convention, guess what? You can just drop out of an event and go have fun at the convention.
Oh yeah.
I've done that a couple of times. You know what? I paid this money to be at this convention. I'm going to go enjoy the convention now.
Yep.
Sure,
Go do
absolutely.
something else.
Yeah.
Especially you can do that at Warfare Weekend because we don't charge for our event. We just charge for an entry fee.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But there's always stuff to do, and we can help you find some cool stuff to do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
So I wanted to talk about the thing that we all like to do, and we all like it because it's a Lunda Shenanigans narrative events.
Yeah.
We love our narrative events. And over the last year and a half, I would say, Privateer Press has really been pushing that. And I'm sure Steamforged Games is going to continue the tradition of doing narrative events and stuff like that. Because I'll tell you right now, so when I finally got to play in a narrative event, which was at Adepticon. Shout out to Adepticon, love y'all. And the thing about narrative events is you get to pull stupid bullshit. And stuff that's not normally in the game. Prime example. At the very end of my game, I was getting blown across the table. I was just getting beat up like crazy, and all I had was Shadow Tongue and Magnus's Jack.
Invictus.
Invictus shut down on the board because Lauren told me don't take Invictus off, leave Invictus there. For whatever reason, for story reasons, but so on and so forth. And I was like, cool. And I was down to Shadow Tongue and Invictus, and that was it. And I was like, my team had fed me 8 coins. And you can use the coins for whatever you want, just make it a good narrative thing. And so I was like, I called Lauren over and I was like, this is what I want to do. I'm going to spend all my coins. Here it is. This is what I'm doing. Shadow Tongue, and I explained what the situation was on the board. I'll have a Shadow Tongue and Invictus. Can't do anything. Invictus is just terrain now. And Shadow Tongue, okay, sure, you can cast a spell, but he's going to get shot off the board. I go, I'm going to take, Shadow Tongue is going to rip his heart out of his chest while it's beating, send all of his arc energy into it, and throw it in Invictus's furnace, and now becomes Shadow Invictus. And she's like, fucking yeah, do it. And I'm like, everybody at the table was like, what the fuck just happened? And they're like,
like
People
great.
were gathering around you to find out what's going on.
and she was like, it's an Atomus in its Jack. It's D3 plus 1, up to 3 focus a turn. So typically 2, a turn.
Yep.
And that's, and go. And I'm like, okay. And so, and I was playing it, and Invictus was just running around. Like, he didn't have to worry about hiding Magnus. He was just running and smashing into things.
Just smashing stuff.
Just,
Stumpy robot.
doing big stompy robot things, which was a ton of fun. People were like, that's fucking cool. And I'm like, but a lot of people weren't thinking about that because they're not thinking narratively. They're thinking just
gameplay.
gameplay. How do I
Yeah.
use this so I can get like farther range? And I was like,
Yeah.
because I looked at Lauren and I was like, you're dealing with a GM with a very vivid imagination. You're okay with this? And she's like, surprise me. I mean, so Shadow Tongue died. His body was down on the ground, but
you went out in a blaze of glory. That's all that matters.
and
Very
then,
dramatic, yes.
and at the very end, it was the last round. I had my last turn, and I looked at Lauren. I says, they fed me 10 coins. I put down the 10 coins. I go, Invictus, Shadow Invictus now, is going to shut off his entire boiler. So it builds pressure up, and I'm going to launch myself like a jetpack at the gate and blow myself up at the gate. So I do at least 1 point of damage so the gate is destroyed. And she's like, fuck yeah, do it. And I went over there and just, I leaped over and Shadow Invictus hit the gate, blew it up. Shadow Invictus died, but it did 1 damage. And people are like, that's cool as shit. I'm like, yeah, this is what narrative events for.
That's what narrative is all about.
You're not supposed to be, how do I win
Technical
this?
play.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. How to break it fun wise and have fun with it.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
I also like how it also gets you to collaborate with the other people that you're playing with too. Because like whenever I was wanting to bring my balloon back, I looked over to the guy next to me. I was like, okay, how do we do this? How do I bring my balloon back? So we just created a story where my little goblin was able to patch up the air balloon instead of it just deflating. It was able to come back up. So just a good time.
So I mean, I really like narrative events. In Shadow Sword, make good stories.
I had
fun stories.
Lauren allowed me to do a fastball special with my dwarves. She was like, "What?" I'm like, "Look, we don't talk about fastball special, but can I do a fastball special? Can I do old school dwarf tossing?" It was some tons of fun. But still, I think the more iconic narrative thing wasn't even so much part of the narrative was when. And you were there too for that. We all were when they first took out blighter gas. When they first started doing this out of the big crate at Warfare Weekend, because that was like everyone's like, it's going down. This is going to be so much fun, and that's where narratives took off. Like being a part of that again was like we get to see the super cool stuff. We can't, obviously it's not part of something that we can buy and be part of. But everyone was like, can we take it home? Like please. And everyone was like, how are you going to get it home?
Very carefully.
Right.
Well, what's funny is, I was helping with that, doing what I was doing at Warfare Weekend, and we had people, the tickets sold out in like 3 or 4 days for those 3 events, but people were standing at the table. Yeah. And everybody we had lines of 10 to 15 people deep going, are you still playing? Are you still in? Are you still in? Are you still in? And they're like, yeah, I'm still in. This is fun as shit. And they were like, damn, because they couldn't play.
Narrative is now what, the first thing sold out at every event now?
Yeah. Narrative events have been sold out, and pretty much and quickly too. If you're not there when tickets sell, it's gone. You won't get in.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people, and that's good because it also shows that there's a lot of potential for people that just want to play and make a good story. They don't care about getting the accolade of being first place in the IG or, whatever. They're like, I'm here to make pew pew and stomp stuff.
So what would be, so each of you give me a guess what you guys think will be the next narrative thing to happen. So like our first one was Blattergast, and the second one is now the gates with the monstrosities.
Scarsfall.
The Scarsfall. So what do you guys think would be cool for the next narrative event to come?
Which is going to be Gen Con, by the way.
Yeah.
Gen Con is supposed to be the next, and I think they're called legendary events. I don't know if they're going to keep that naming, but that's
now. So are we getting a new one at? Are we getting a new one at Gen Con?
The next in the series is what I heard.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
It's supposed to be at Gen Con. The next legendary event is supposed to be at Gen Con. I think, oh man, because there's always something that happens at there. Oh, I don't know.
So my thought is, with us getting storyline wise of Daenerys' rise to power, because she made a vacancy because she was now picked for next for Lord Toruk. Yeah. I feel like she might be making herself known, like aggressively to everyone, that I'm here and I'm the new bad you have to worry about. because I think it'll be a good also release for Crix as well. So we
Yep.
might have something Crix based coming out and stomping around, swarming the board in in Crix undead faction. Would be very interesting in my opinion.
Or like, yeah, because the one good thing about like this narrative event is if everybody brought Kador, there's still a good Kador and a bad Kador on this table
Yep.
type thing.
Yeah.
And like there could be something like, okay, this group of, if you're playing on this side of the table, you're technically the bad guys. I put quotes around that, and you're actually working for Crix. And so you get to bring back troops nonstop. Your troops
Yep.
become undead after you've wiped them out or whatever, and that
Yeah, they
could
get
be the thing.
revived by dark magic or something along those lines. Yep.
Yeah. And there's always could have been, there's always Shadow Sword brings up that they're scouting out or looking for something, which could be true too. We don't know. I mean, there could be plenty of things that they could do because it's the one thing I do like. While Blighter Ghast was fight around this area and do cool shit and fight the dragon, or run your blimp into it and
Leroy Jenkins your way.
Leroy.
The one at Adepticon was this group of people are going to assault or defend the wall. These group of people are going to be gaining tokens and doing special magic stuff at, XYZ type thing. And I was like, that's cool because they can concentrate on building power while these people can concentrate on that. And I think that was a really good function of a narrative event because even the people that were doing like a one-on-one battle, they were affecting how I was doing at the Battle of the Wall type thing. So it'll be interesting. I think it would be good if they did something like that again. Like here's, 8 people doing a mass battle, and here's 8 people doing one-on-one battles that are feeding and helping and doing things in the one-on-one.
Yeah, and that's kind of how the Blattergast one was set up too. Like, because we had like 2 or 3 people at the end fighting each other over the lash, and then and then you had the others down there feeding the coins up. So.
Yeah, because at the same time, while you're playing in the area, you're also cooperating with your team on the other side of the board without knowing you're cooperating.
Yeah.
No. So like, again, the more you be a part of the game, the more you're both, doing what you need to for your game, but also supporting, the troops on the other side. And again, it's a team-based game while still playing towards the narrative fun example that it is, and that's what it should be.
Yeah. And what happens at the narrative does affect the story. I'm sure they're going to continue that because that's a huge part of the game now that people love is that whatever happens narrative-wise will affect the story. And here's the thing. They could have had Butcher waiting in the wings whether they won or lost. But how Butcher came out is how the story changed type thing. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah. Also, Butcher can make an appearance at Gen Con and be like, "Surprise, motherfucker!"
Yeah.
we now have to deal with a souped up Butcher. Great. Well, Kador's screwed.
Murder hobo.
I mean, you could have pre-printed and pre-painted. I wouldn't say pre-painted, but they may have Butchers already built up and they release his stats at Gen Con and Butcher's on the table for the Orgoth side of the board.
Right. Yeah.
Type thing. I mean, we don't know.
That
could do anything.
Be very interesting.
That would be cool because people get the first time to play Butcher with whatever his rules are. So
whatever his rules are.
Insanity.
Yeah. So
homicidal sanity.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to be fucking badass. But that's the fun thing about the narrative stuff, and I guess it's you. In my opinion, I see a lot of people, when they play in a tournament event, if they lose twice, they're pretty much done and they walk away because they know that they can't get, any of the spots. But narrative players, they're there for the whole time. They do not care.
You get something no matter what. Like you're just there to roll dice and have fun. Yeah. Make your own stories. Why? Because you'll talk about it later. Guess what I got to do, guys? You got to do what? Like, got to throw Chuck Norris at somebody. It's great.
I got to rip the heart of my caster. What? I'm like, yeah. They're like, that's not in the rules. I know.
I
got to blow myself up like a dragon. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, you get to do fun stuff. And like I says, it's just a good blast to do a thing. The last thing we want to talk about is, because we're almost out of time for this section, is future events. Future events that we're looking forward to, future events that are coming up. Right now, next one, of course, is Gen Con. I'm not able to make it. I'm sorry, Gen Con's a little out of my price range right now. It's pretty expensive type thing. But I am looking forward to see what Steamforge game has at Gen Con because everything's going to be at the Steamforge booth. Um, and what events they're going to do and how things are going to run. I'm really looking forward to that to see what's going on. Um, I'm also looking forward to a couple other things at Gen Con, but we'll wait and see. The next big event is we have Nova coming up.
Yep.
Nova, which are good friends from Tried and True, Erica and Andy and Paul and all that area, the Tried and True group are going to be running Nova events, and they got a big narrative event coming up too. And Paul's terrain skills are, if you haven't seen the buildings that he's been making and everything,
Yeah, I saw.
he's not 3D printing, he's building these from scratch type thing.
Yep.
Are legit. Shout out to Paul and the Tried and True team. And if you
Way
haven't,
too much time on their hands.
yeah. Yeah, make sure you go check out them. If you haven't bought tickets, go to that because they always do really well.
Yeah.
What else? We got Warfare Weekend after that.
Yes.
That's the next big one, which we know they'll do. I'm sure they're going to do another narrative event like usual, and that's going to be the IG finals.
We have Mission GT.
That's right.
Yep, that's coming up in the middle of September. So definitely come up and hang out with me. I'll be running some events along with my good buddy Dan. So we'll be having a lot of fun stuff going down. But yeah, and then the Siege Invitational for us will be my next event, driving down to Tennessee.
Yep. And then next year, which LVO has already started selling tickets to, guys, if I'm going to tell you my biggest, and I'm not saying it's a complaint, but my biggest gripe is people not buying tickets to events. For people to understand, if you don't buy tickets early enough, the convention is going to shrink their space because they're going to open it up for other games. Prime example, we all know 40K sells out huge at LVO, and they have a huge wait list. And if Warmachine, they don't sell out their spot, they're going to take their spot, and they're going to take it quickly because they know that they're going to get more 40K players and sell more badges. So please, Tyson runs an amazing event. He has really good stuff. He's a good guy, dude. Go buy your tickets early.
Yeah, Mission GT for you guys. Huge push for us to get tickets sold because nothing is officially stated, but this may be our last year. So definitely come on out and give us one hell of a send off if that is the case.
Yeah. Always buy your tickets as soon as you can. We all understand.
Money issues happen. Life happens. We can't control that. But for those who can, please buy it early. It definitely gives the numbers to look better. And at least from our side of me looking at Warfare Weekend things, Michigan GT, and some other stuff. Warmachine players are notoriously horrible for buying their tickets at the last second.
Yeah.
I love you all, but you're all bad at it.
Yeah.
Don't procrastinate.
Shadow Sword made the same deal for Nova. Nova's the same way. If you don't buy your badges for Nova and fill out those events, they're going to steal the tables for another event.
That's all cons. Like no matter what it is, if you don't show proof that people are interested, it will get removed. No matter what. And this is also me helping out with like YomaCon, which is an anime convention here in Detroit. Things that don't get sold out in a decent amount of time, and we don't hear anything until the last second. Those things may be gone like completely because, as far as we know, no one's interested.
Yeah.
And we gotta make plans.
Yeah. And I mean, you've got to buy those tickets early. You don't. A lot of people put a ton of hard work into this for free.
Yep. We love you all.
Time. So make sure that you do that.
We do.
Dude.
It is
a
big labor of love, but
I mean, it's also the same thing. While Warfare Weekend doesn't sell passes for individual events, if you don't sign up for it, and another thing says, make sure that you buy this, and if there's an event that has a wait list, they're going to shrink something else to fit those people in because if not, they don't get paid for the badge. Yeah, those people want to play. So just make sure you sign up. Make sure you buy the badge. Make sure you buy the tickets. Make sure you do all of that stuff because it is very, very important.
We love you too, Cookie.
Zeke, do you have anything? after LVO, I mean, good shout out to the Boker Brawl. It'll be much later in the year type thing, but shout out to
Yep.
the Boker Brawl.
Adepticon.
Yeah, and
Yeah, because
Adepticon.
Yep.
I think Adepticon comes first, then Boker Brawl.
Yeah.
That sounds right. Yep.
We don't know what Seth's gonna do. I mean, he's an old man. He could get his months mixed up. And we'll have
Yeah,
to
who
wait.
goes?
Love you, Seth.
Love ya.
But also, if you're New England and you go up there, Seth runs a great event, so don't ever think different. It's
Yeah.
just this
Oh god, yeah.
amazing guy.
Like that thing fills up.
Yeah, he gets
100.
a lot of
If I had the money and the resources, absolutely would be there.
type thing. So, guys, that is our stuff on Warmachine. We are about to head over and do our media section. I know it's been a while since you've been in the media section, so we're going to remind you how this works. You have 2 rating scales. You can rate whatever your media that you're talking about. It's closer to Casablanca, which is the greatest movie ever made, or Cats, which is the worst movie ever made. Until they put out the butthole edition of Cats, then that will be the worst movie ever made. Or you can use the rating scale, which is 1 to 5. 1 being Casablanca, 5 being Cats, and it's about space herpes. Nobody wants space herpes, so the fewer space herpes, the better it is.
Yep.
And I'll go ahead and rate some. I'll go and do something right now to give you a kind of a feel for what we're doing. I did watch Monkey Man. I think it's on Paramount or Peacock. I can't remember which one.
It's one or the other.
Yeah, one of those other. And
Hold that thought.
Dave Patel. He directed, do everything, and pretty much what it is. And I'm going to put this as blunt as possible. And it is India version of John Wick with a little bit of a twist. Monkey Man is about a guy that wants to get revenge on someone that killed his mother when he was a kid, and he goes to do that and totally fucks it all up. Goes somewhere, has to run away, and gets John Wicked up and learns how to fight and does some other stuff. This has great fight scenes in it. Very, very good fight scenes. It is tons and tons and tons and tons of action and tons of blood and gore and death and smashing of brains and stabbing people in faces. You name it. My biggest complaint about this is there's a couple of small parts that are kind of slow and kind of just tweak a little bit, and the ending ends very abruptly, and it just feels like, can we do something better? Can we done something, whatever. But I mean, it wasn't bad. Overall, it was a really good, fun film. Really interesting, different fight scenes. Nothing was like, it wasn't shaky cam, but it was fast cam. So it was like boom, 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 this type of thing, but not shaky, which always pisses me off because you can't concentrate on what's going on.
Yeah.
But very much a John Wick style film where one man against all odds and kicks the shit out of everybody and puts bullets in places they're not supposed to be, and then that type of thing.
Yeah.
So if you got those channels, go watch it. It was good fun. I'm gonna give it like 1 to 1.5 space RPs because there was a little bit that was there that was like, but it was a good fun ride.
Can
Captain
confirm
Mizzy?
it's on Peacock, by the way.
Good. So if you have Peacock, go watch it for free.
So I didn't watch a whole lot, but I did watch a little bit. So let's go with Doctor Who.
Oh, that's one on my list right now too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not a Whovian at all, but it's a good story. I'll give it that. I feel like if you're really into Doctor Who, then this season is filled with a bunch of Easter eggs that you're gonna love and enjoy. But it's a solid story, but it's some of it's just too weird for me, man.
Yeah, so we were watching. So I got them. I was like, y'all need to watch Doctor Who, one because there's one with Jinx Monsoon in there, and
Love that one. That
Yeah.
one was fantastic.
It was a really good episode. I love the original, the Christmas special. I even love the dancing and singing in that
Yes.
one.
And the goblins.
And the goblins were amazing. And then there were a couple of them that were kind of weird. Rogue is one of my favorite episodes,
Yeah.
where they
Yep.
Okay.
they do Bridgerton, pretty
That
much.
was adorable.
That was amazing episode. Great story, great plot, great, pushing the narrative type thing. Um, and then, of course, the season finales were good fun. I'm not a big Whovian either. I know Doctor Who, I know some of it, but I'm not like, deeply ingrained on it.
Yeah, I'm the same.
But I mean, I'll take any good sci-fi I can take type thing in
Oh,
nowadays.
Hmm.
And there is, we're not going to tell the spoilers, but there is some stuff still going on with the show that people are
yep.
like still theorizing about characters, what's happening, so on and so forth. And it's no secret, the character Ruby Sunday does not follow the Doctor through this. It's already been said that she's a one and done companion. So this was her season, which was still a great character. Loved Ruby
Uh-huh.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Loved everything about the season. I would say for me, the overall season was like a 1 to 1.5 space herpes. Missing?
I would agree. I would agree with that. Yeah. That's a fair rating. Even though, yeah, it was weird, and some of it I'm just like, what is going on?
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. So, yeah, 1.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Zeke, you have the rating system. We've given you examples. It is now your time.
So I ended up rewatching a series only because an announcement was made earlier this week about a video game release, which is the X-Men versus Marvel series.
Mm-hmm.
Huge love. So I went back and rewatched X-Men '97.
Ooh.
Just for my secondary rewatch because I watched it the first time, had huge love. But
Did
sometimes I
you?
like to go back and
I need to know, Zeke, real
sure.
quick. How bad was your emotional damage? How deep did it hurt?
Yes, I cried. Yes, I cried.
Okay,
Yes.
valid.
But I went back, rewatched just to kind of get more of a full understanding of things that are happening. Because the first time you watch it, you're in the emotions, you're loving it, everything else, all this stuff looks cool. But let's actually pay attention to kind of a little bit more on what's going on. And my viewpoint didn't change. It is everything that I wanted to be. It pays fantastic respect to what came before. And definitely opens up to something new in the future, which I am very happy to see what happens. As long as they, again, sometimes that first season is perfect, second season, who knows? But I am very interested to see where they go from here. So I absolutely adored X-Men '97 and found a little bit more cool secret Easter eggs. So definitely won't spoil those. But if you haven't watched it or have watched it once, definitely go back and watch it through again. Yeah, it gets better every single time. So this is a definitely one for on my space herpes level. It is.
You can go 0 if it's perfect.
We'll say one. We'll say one
Okay.
because for everyone it can be a little different depending on how they feel about it. So I would definitely give it a one. But I'm like, if you haven't seen it, see it, and you've only seen it once, watch it again because
You
there's
definitely
definitely
missed
some cool
stuff.
tips. You definitely missed stuff. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very much a good homage to the original show, but brings it up the story to a modern level.
Yes.
And all these people that are watching are like, this is the X-Men show that we've always wanted.
Yep.
This is what we've wanted from X-Men. We don't want, a lot, the movies weren't on par, but this is X-Men.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I actually am caught up on Acolyte. If you don't know, this is the new Star Wars series, and I can tell Zeke is gonna be gonna burn some bridges with me for a second. Here's my thing about Acolyte. Um, it is a new series and a new telling. Is it perfect? No.
No.
Is it still Star Wars? Yes. The thing is this breaks the mold of Star Wars of the Jedi are always nice and good and warm and loving, and breaks the mold because in this episode, by the way, we see who the main bad guy is, who the main bad guy is, and you see it in the trailer, so it's not a spoiler. They light up a red lightsaber and do a good big force push, and then they cut scene, and I'm like, that's something I would have done in my games, but
That's
I'm
something
like,
you have done.
so I'm looking like this Tuesday, as soon as it drops, I'm there to watch it because, and I'm only theory crafting here. I think this is the start of the Sith because we really haven't had they haven't touched on that subject of when did the Sith start, why did the Sith come about, and I'm talking Sith as in dark Jedi, not Sith the race. Sith
Right.
as dark Force users, um, and I really, and I said this in the last one, I really want to see this Sith go, I am going to kill all you motherfuckers, and I'm going to do it so brutal that when they find your bodies, they are going to hide all of this and not find out, and nobody's going to know about it. Because I want this Sith character. I don't want a Sith character like, oh, I'm going to force push you around. I'm going to walk around, and I want this. I want a mean, vile, evil, dark Jedi, and I hope.
You want Darth Revan to be what he should be, just killing
Yes.
everything and not giving a damn. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I want him to fuck everybody, and I want people to die from him.
Yeah. Or storybook Darth Vader. If you read any of the comics, Darth Vader killed everybody.
Oh yeah. And that's the reason why you would never really see a Darth Vader, series, because you don't want to glorify that. You want to go, fuck, he was evil, and that's the reason why it was so important in whatchamacallit, what was the one where they did the Star plans?
Obi-Wan?
No.
Rogue One?
Rogue One. Why that extra scene in Rogue One was so powerful, because we were told as kids that Darth Vader was an evil, evil man and did evil, evil stuff, and everybody was afraid of him. But when we watched the series, yeah, okay, he was cool, he was a badass, and he did things. But that right there just solidified and went, yeah, that he bad. He's a bad man.
Oh yeah.
his
lightsaber
did
that of
red,
Luke
red.
when he showed up. So yeah,
Yeah.
that was great. But no, so Acolyte is a good series in its core. I understand and ultimately what everything else said is what I like about the series.
Yep.
Some of and this is just mostly a personal gripe for my things of when Disney took over a lot of the Old Republic stuff, got shunted out, because there's definitely some cool story there that could be introduced here with the Acolyte to definitely hype up some things for, even if you're not introducing the super old Sith users, which would be really cool to help build on that bloody mentality they all had before the rule of two truly kicked in. They definitely changed up how, at least how some things are done, has always been done storyline wise. So it feels a little odd on them changing things in this kind of prequel here at this point. But again, that's just more like nitpicking on my end. But I definitely feel that there's some acting that could have been cleaner in some of the episodes. But all in all, it's enjoyable to watch if you are a huge Star Wars fan. Definitely watch it. I just hope that from here we definitely get what we're looking for and it's ready to flesh out in the future.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to, because don't get me wrong, I love the the Skywalker saga. We all grew up on it, but there's a whole big world out there that's more than just you know Luke and Leia type thing, and that whole storyline. The Old Republic stuff, that's some brutal shit.
That's what I want.
Yeah, I want that brutal stuff that comes in that people don't see all the time of Star Wars, because it was good story. I'd love to see a Revan, a Revan type thing.
Adore a Revan story.
Yeah, type thing. So I mean,
the books did him justice. I'm just give me anything. You can make it animated however you do. I mean, all the animated shows have been fantastic. I love them all. So you can give me anything you want. Just if you give me a good solid Old Republic / Revan, yes.
So this episode was cool. It was neat. It was interesting. It felt more like Star Wars to me than the rest of the episodes did.
Yes.
So no rating still. Give a rating after we've seen the entire series. We got like what 4 more episodes to go or something like
Or
that.
yes. Yep.
So waiting on that. Captain Mizzy, what you got?
I've been watching a crap ton of Bridgerton, and we finished season 2 this week, and got through part 1 of season 3 today. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I really love season 2. It's really nice to see Anthony come out of his seriousness and then just turn into this completely sickening in love person with Kate. And now that he's just obsessed with her and just in love, and it's just so great to see that evolution. It was really heartbreaking on Edwina's part, though, whenever that they were going through all that stuff. But I'm glad that it finally worked out. I'm glad that he was finally to get out of his brain and actually listen to his feelings. So that was nice. And then we have Colin and Penelope. Episode 1 of season 3, I was yelling at my TV, Colin, you slut. Because it was just so great. But I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm really excited to see what they do in the second part, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm having a good time with it.
Nice. Zeke?
Well, for the 80th anniversary of D-Day that just happened not too long ago, I decided to pull out and rewatch Band of Brothers. One of my,
Oof.
yeah, it's kind of an ode to my grandfather, who served as well and everything else. So I kind of pull out at least once a year for him, and I thought this would be a good time to pull it out and watch it. For those who are historical buffs, you already know of what I'm talking about. If you're not, Band of Brothers takes us a nice long trough through war. It's not for the faint of heart. There are definitely some hard topics in there, some very tough things that happen through that series, and you will get attached to characters. It is not like Game of Thrones; they don't all die, but don't get attached to everybody. I will tell you that right now.
Yep.
But it is definitely a memorable series to look at things through many people's takes on it. But it is very historically accurate. Definitely, if you're someone who definitely enjoys the type of thing, if you haven't already, give it a watch through. It is something I watch at least once a year. It's one of my favorites.
It is to me the perfect war series.
Sure. Absolutely.
Perfect. If you're going to watch any series on war, and it's not going to hold back either. It's not going to, glorify it. It's going to be like, yeah, this was fucked up. Yeah.
That and Saving Private Ryan are like one of my two things I love to watch.
Yeah. So what how many Straight Steppers do you give it?
That's a 0. That is 100% 0. If it's something you enjoy,
correct.
One outside of that. If it's not something that's your cup of tea, absolutely. But if you have any interest in it, absolutely.
Yeah, it's solid. My other one, something new came on Netflix. And if you don't know me, I love Korean and Japanese game shows. If you've never watched Take the Money and Run on Netflix, please go do it. It is hilariously great.
I have not watched that one.
Pretty much what it is like 100 people are put in this area, and they have to. It's a large game of tag. Is pretty much what it is.
Oh yes.
And
okay,
much,
I remember seeing the commercial. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are these agents, and if they touch you, you're out of the game. But the longer you stay in the game, the bigger the prize pool. You can actually rat people out to increase the prize pool. All this other stuff. And there's like mini games to do certain stuff, and blah blah blah. And it was great. So and that got me hooked on watching shows, because the Korean and Japanese game shows, those fuckers don't play around. They're not like, oh, here's you a little prize. They're like, go stab your buddy in the back and we'll add $5,000 to the pool.
Yep.
They're like,
we're here to win.
Yeah,
it's brutal out there, man.
Yeah. But this one I watched, it just came out on Netflix. It's called Agents of Mystery. What Agents of Mystery is they take 6 people, and I think they're all Korean actors and actresses, and they are brought in this room, and they're pretty much like X-File team. And they're like, here's the story. This is what you want to accomplish. You have 6 hours to do it. And it's sort of like a huge game of what's the one that you're trying to get out of rooms and such.
The escape rooms?
Escape room. It's like
Escape
a
rooms,
6 hour long escape room RPG. And like each room has a little puzzle thing. And like the
I'll play
first
that.
one, yeah, the first one was they wanted you to rescue the 3 girls that were kidnapped by the satanic cult and try to stop the satanic cult if you can. And if you get caught, they disavow you, blah, blah, blah. And like, they have to solve puzzles and do, solve little anagrams and, figure out all this cool stuff like escape rooms. But it's in a large warehouse. So they're like sneaking through rooms and hiding and listening to stuff and, having a good time. And of course, if you know Korean or Japanese game shows, they scare the shit out of themselves more than the actual thing should be happening. They are very serious about it. And they are very much get into it. They very much, want to be a part of everything that's going on. And they get into it. It's a good role play type session for them. And it's amazing. The second, that's only 6 episodes. And the second job they had to do was go into a submarine and find out what happened to the crew, and pretty much it turns into aliens. Because one of the crew members is turned into an alien, and there's an alien creature, and like they have to do some pretty cool stuff and hacking into computers, not really hacking, but solving puzzles and doing different things, and everybody.
So is it kind of like Among Us?
No, they're not against each other. They're all working together as a team.
Gotcha.
Because they get teleported to the area, and that door closes, and it won't open up until an hour before the time is up, and then after that hour it closes. So they have to get everything done and get back into the teleporter before the time is up.
Gotcha. Okay.
And they have missions they have to do, like make sure you grab this, this, and this, and bring it back with you, and so on and so forth. And there's some pretty cool stuff in it. It was fun to watch. I mean, I love good puzzle stuff and good thinking games and good thinking, type, game shows. And I enjoyed it. It was good fun. They're hour-long episodes, and you can watch and pause, and you're not going to feel like you're, going to miss a bunch of stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And of course they dramatize it up, but at the very end of it, they showed the behind the scenes of the crew and all the things that were happening, behind the scenes, and they had to.
That's always the fun part.
Yeah, I mean, there's one time where they actually take the room and turn it, and it's not like they did a shaky cam. They actually turned the entire room. That's like cool. Inception type stuff, and they had to try to write it and everything, and that's cool stuff like that. And I was like, man, that's how you do a game show. That's how you have good fun and, whatever. And I was like, this was cool as shit. I had a blast watching it. It was a lot of fun. It was very interesting. The people that are playing are very funny. There's some of them you're like, yeah, I'm not climbing up there. I'm scared shitless. Type of thing. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, they're not going to hurt you. It's a game. But
we're not taking that chance.
You're not taking that chance because you don't know if you could be pulled out of the game because you died or, whatever. Yep. But they've hit people with slime and water and, all this other stuff. So, I mean, I had a blast. I thought it was a great fun. I give it a 1. It is dubbed. I think you can watch it subtitled if you want, but it is dubbed. But it's fun to hear them talk and get through it. Hats off to the crew and production company because I know that had to be a major pain in the ass.
Oh yeah, that's a fun time.
And have everything. So, Mizzy?
We finished season 1 of Golden Girls to its entirety. All 25 episodes. It was great.
Classic.
Comfort. When you need the happy chemicals because life is getting you down, you grab some cheesecake and you watch Golden Girls.
Amen. So you never go wrong with Golden Girls.
It's up there with Casablanca, man. Can't go wrong with it.
Maybe.
Right, Xander? Those ladies are perfection.
Absolutely, they're ruthless. Like those things are straight ruthless. That's great.
Yes.
Yeah, and they didn't hold back in that show either. You really
No.
think about it,
No.
they didn't hold back on that.
There's a clip that floats around on Reels where it's the three of them talking around the table about how big of a slut Blanche and
Literally was just thinking that exact.
Blanche and Rose. The slut is dead. Long live the sluts. And I'm like, I am waiting to see that in this show.
Oh my
Because
god.
it's glorious. You don't need to go all the way to have 25 boyfriends. I love it so much.
It's so good. No fucks were given, ladies and gentlemen. No
No.
fucks were given.
Yeah. Zeke?
You know what? Actually, that was it for me this week. Not too much was done. There was a lot of family stuff going on, so I didn't have much time to catch up on some stuff. But yeah, just my Band of Brothers run and Acolytes, and that was practically it.
I do know that there's some things coming out. A lot of TV shows are ending right now. We're at the end of the season to see if things are getting renewed or whatever. And so we're in that area where a lot of shows are done for the season. That's the reason why Netflix has started buying up a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting for season 2 of Arcane.
We have season 2 of Arcane coming up, which is the finale. They said they're only doing the second season, and that's it.
But there will be other series of other characters though coming out.
Yeah, they're not really spin-offs, but that's the best way to put it.
Yeah. Yep.
Type thing. What else is there? There's also been I haven't seen really any trailers lately of anything.
I've seen if you like Vox Machina, I know that's the new season coming out for that.
Yep.
Oh, I finally jumped on the bandwagon with everybody else and started our favorite cooking show, Delicious in Dungeon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am a sucker for good food.
Yes.
I am a huge sucker for good foods.
What? Us? No, we don't like to eat here at all. Mm-mm.
Oh no, I know. We gotta stay fit, right? Right.
Clearly, body by fitness.
Right.
Fitness whole thing in my mouth.
Exactly. My body absorbs the fitness with all the flavor I get too.
Yes.
Yeah, there hasn't been. I don't know if there's any new TV shows or anything coming out. Like I said, everything's kind of like coming to an end because summer's coming up, which means we've got like more reality TV shows coming up, which is
no one cares.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Yeah, it's like another Survivor and some other stuff coming out. I know that.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what's going to be coming up. That's anything, but there's not really much. There's not much happening. I know that if you did not watch Scavenger's Reign on Max when it came out, it's now on Netflix, and that's a very trippy cartoon sci-fi show. Very interesting if you haven't seen it, so you can go watch that. But there hasn't been a lot of stuff coming out, type thing. I know we got Deadpool 3 coming up, so that's going to be coming up soon. Which we're gonna have to watch that.
I still love their popcorn bucket trailer.
Yeah.
Perfection.
So I don't know.
That's how you sell it.
Mm-hmm.
We may have like a little, low count media section next week because there's not much happening. But we're in the middle of that, so we'll have to wait and see.
Yep.
Zeke, we're coming to the end of our show. What's our shout outs you want to give out and everything you want people to know about?
Pimping?
Shout out. I'm pimping everybody. So huge shout outs for podcasts of Minority Report. Come out, check us out. We try to get up some new episodes about every other week. We do have our Siege Invitational that we are hosting in Tennessee coming next month. And then I am pushing for the Michigan GT coming in the middle of September for Warmachine events and just coming out as I said before, this might be our last year. Just come on and just hang out with us for one last hurrah. And then of course, Warfare Weekend first weekend of November. And yeah, that's a shout out. Hi.
So, guys, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. It is time. We want to make sure we want to say thank you for joining us. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for everything you do. That's been great to hear from everybody and see everybody. If you find us at a convention, make sure you say hi. We are big weirdos, and we will say hi back. Type
And I will
thing.
hug you.
Most
All
likely
the
we'll hug
hugs.
you. All the hugs. As usual, folks, if you see something, say something. If you hear something, say something too. If you can do something, do something. If you can't, find somebody that will, because we've got to look after each other. For More Than Dice, I'm Gonzo.
I'm Captain Mizzy.
I'm Zeke.
Good night.
Thanks for listening to More Than Dice, making the world a better, nerdier place, one dumb joke at a time. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. For more nerdy action or to connect with your hosts, check them out on Facebook.com/morethandice and Twitch.tv/more_than_dice. Until next time, stay nerdy, stay proud, and we'll see you soon on the More Than Dice podcast.